Hi, everyone. This is Seminarian Stephen McClernand, and this week I am at the Immaculate Conception Center, also known as the Minor Seminary at Douglaston again. And this week I'm actually in the main chapel where we gather for daily Mass and prayer. So, the opening line of the first reading from the Old Testament from Ecclesiastes is probably one of the most famous lines of all of Scripture and definitely of the Old Testament. The opening line is vanity of vanities, everything is a vanity. And that is a common phrase that is used in Scripture, it's used in literature, it's used in movies, it's kind of used wherever we go. Because when we hear the word vanity, we think of what? Somebody, of course, who is vain, who is only focused on their looks, their clothes, their whole self. Everything is all about the self. There's a vanity mirror. Maybe some of the girls have it in their rooms. My mom used to have it. It's a head to toe mirror. You could see yourself and your outfits and everything like that. That's the first reading. The second reading from the epistle talks about putting to death earthly things and focusing on things that are above, things of heaven. And then the gospel, Jesus talks about this farmer who has this land, and he says, well, now that you're doing very well, what are you going to do? And the farmer says, well, I'm going to buy a bigger piece of property and kind of build up the land and make it even better so I can accumulate more money, more goods. And Jesus warns him, cautiously warns him, that beware because there could be a thief in the night and he could take everything. And what are you going to be left with? So interestingly enough, all three readings today doesn't always happen, but they all kind of have a similar thread through them. And the thread is to focus on things of heaven, not only the things of the earth. Well, what does that mean? Well, I'm sure many of you are like, I have it right here on the altar, like your phone, right? Aren't we kind of addicted to this? I carry this everywhere I go. I don't leave home without it unless I go on a run or something like that. Um, but some of you maybe like always have your phone or your tablet with you. Some of you may be addicted to your uh, teams, your sports teams, always playing baseball or playing lacrosse or something like that. Some of you may be addicted to schoolwork. Always got to be studying, no time for friends, no time to watch television or go to the movies, always got to be study, study, study. And the church says all those things are good. Technology, your studies, your sports, whatever, that stuff's all good, but it's not the end all be all. And that's important for us to get a nice reminder of that sometimes, because if we're only focused on this constantly, we're missing out on life, missing out on people we love, people we care about, and we're missing out on God. And that's the whole point of the readings this week. Because as we get older, our phones, think about your phones, for example, we change them every what, 4 or 5 years at the most. There's always a new iPhone coming out or a new Android or something like that. Because they break down, they become slower, and we want the newest thing. And that's not a bad thing. But it's a constant, like we're always going to something new. But what's going to happen as we get much, much older and we have no more use for our phones, we have no more use for our tablets, we maybe can't do the same sports we used to do when we were younger or something like that? What's left? Family, people we love, and our faith in God. Those things are always kind of constant and with us. So Jesus is saying, focus on those things. Those are the things that are most important. And how do we do that? Well, for starters, maybe some of you are really like you cannot leave home without your phone. And I totally can get it. I can totally relate to that. But how are we supposed to focus on heaven? Sometimes there are, you could look up prayers on your phone. You could look up different saints. You could do something like that to kind of always keep yourself focused on God, or even on your screensaver if you want to put a cross or maybe like an inspirational Bible quote or something like that. Again, just things to kind of keep yourselves focused on God and to keep the prayer life going and keep it open and just allow yourselves to be, especially during the summer months, like allow yourselves to be open to growing with God. Summer months are a perfect time to build relationships, first of all, with people, because parents may be home from work, you get to see some cousins at barbecues, you get to see more of your friends. It's a great time to really grow those relationships with people. Also, it's a great time to grow a relationship with God. This is the time because the school year gets so busy, but we're right in the heart of the summer. Take some time every day to pray to God, to talk to God, and to keep our eyes on heaven and do what you have to do. Read, pray, put Bible quotes or whatever in your room, or just what visuals, whatever it is, to keep yourselves focused on heaven. Because when we're connected to heaven, when we're connected to God, everything else kind of falls into place, and we become happier. We become much more. We just become happier, better people when we're focused on God. So this week, Jesus calls us to focus on Him and to get rid of any distractions that may be in our lives.